Good afternoon. I'm coming to you from the Saratoga area of New York. As you can see, we're at the Saratoga National Historic Park. From what I understand, there's a drive here that's about 11 miles. There's a visitor center. You can do it the Junior Ranger program, which our little one's going to try and do today. There's like a movie, I guess, that you can watch inside the visitor center. Really looking forward to the 11-mile drive and getting to know a little bit more about this area because it's something that I've learned about in school many years ago. Don't really remember, to be honest. So it'd be nice to, man, darn bugs. It'll be nice to learn a little more history today. All right, so come along with us. Let's go make some memories.
Special shout out to our channel members. Thank you so much for all your support. If you would like to become a channel member, hit that join button down below. There are some really fun benefits. Come have a look. Thanks for watching.
All right, so we're doing the drive. It's like a one-way drive around. I'm trying to hustle. I'm trying to walk fast because there's thunder in the distance and lightning. We could hear it inside the visitor center. You saw the little stuff that Tori recorded in there for us. I don't know if that picked up on camera, but you can hear the thing. Well, anyway, there's like, I think 11 pull-off stops along this drive. I think it's like a 9.5-mile drive, something like that. It drives you all around the battlefield here at Saratoga. And this is the first one. It's called A War is Coming. It says, take a tour through history. Waterways like the Hudson River were highways through the wilderness. The Hudson Valley was a crossroads of people and an empire for more than a century before the Revolutionary War, I guess. It's missing some words, it looks like. It says it came once again in 1777 when a British army under General John Burgoyne attempted to crush the American rebound with an invasion from Canada. He was met by an American one commanded by General Horatio Gates on these fields. And then there's 10 more stops after, or 9 more stops, I guess, after this. This sign is all full of bird poo, so there's not very much to show you. But it's just the land. It's showing you where the battle took place. The Battle of Saratoga, if you're not familiar, that's actually the first time the British Army, which was the strongest army, strongest military in the world, it was the very first time they ever surrendered. And that battle here at Saratoga was so important because when they surrendered, that got the French into the war. The French ended up helping the Americans win the Revolutionary War because they were enemies of the British, and they saw that as being a weakness to Britain, which is, you know, why they jumped in. And then the other thing was it sparked rebellion in not all of them, but a lot of the other colonies throughout the world. Places like in the Caribbean, in India, in Gibraltar, places that were colonies, they jumped in because they were sparked by the resilience of the Americans and the fact that they proved that the British could be defeated. So it was definitely a turning point, not just in the Revolutionary War, but in the entire world. Okay, it says right here on this marker that's here, it says Saratoga 1777. Here, Daniel Morgan, reluctant to destroy so noble a foe, was forced by a patriotic necessity to defeat and slay the gentle and gallant Fraser. To commemorate, man, the words, the magnanimity of Morgan's heroic nature and his stern sense of duty to his country, this tablet is inscribed by Virginia Neville Taylor, who was the great-granddaughter of General Daniel Morgan. And one of the things that they showed us, we watched the film inside the visitor center. It's about 20 minutes long. It's not the best national park movie that I've seen, but it's good. It tells you about the info about where you're at, and that's what matters, ultimately. But I like how Daniel Morgan's group, when they attacked here, they literally jumped the fence, started screaming, making themselves seem bigger than they were, making all kinds of noise and racket, and it took the British troops by surprise so much that they just kind of took off and ran. Well, the rain has started to fall. Okay, this is in memory of noble son of Poland, Brigadier General Thaddeus Kosciuszko, military engineer soldier of the War of Independence, who under command of General Gates selected and fortified these fields for the great battle. So if it wasn't for him, this fortification and stuff here might not have held, and the Americans might not have been able to hold out. This I'm trying to run to really quick. This is the, I'm assuming, the monument for the unknown dead Americans. I know there's a path here, but I'm trying to walk fast because it's raining. When we left our hotel this morning, they said there was about a 99% chance of rain today. So I don't think we can avoid it. All right, so here's the monument. It says, the unknown American soldiers who perished in the battles of Saratoga, September 19th through October 7th in 1777, were buried in unmarked graves, helped to assure the triumph of the War of Independence. So the people that were unknown, that militiamen that came to join the fight, there were thousands of them. I think they said there were like 17,000 who ended up coming here. That's the monument to acknowledge them and thank them for their service and for their fight. And we definitely appreciate them, because otherwise we wouldn't be the United States right now necessarily, and I probably wouldn't be here talking to you. I don't know, man. And then the house that's up there, I don't know if there's any way to get a better angle of it without walking up there. And I don't want to walk up there because it's raining. All right, so I went back to the car, switched parking spots. We decided we were going to eat some tuna and crackers and stuff for lunch. Long story short, the rain let up a little bit. So now I'm going to check this out. This is Nielsen's house and Nielsen's farm. I'm hoping there's some signs up here of significance. Whew. I'm hustling because of that rain, so if I'm out of breath, I apologize. This is Nielsen's house. I don't know why there's no steps. That just went directly from the parking lot. They make you walk all the way around. It's a long walk. Alright. Please tell me there's something to see. It says empty. It says imminent British invasion in September 1777 forced John and Lydia Nielsen to pack up and abandon their home. American forces arrived here September 12th and camped and fortified this area. In season, Saratoga National Park furnishes the home to represent its use by Generals Poor and General Benedict Arnold. If that name sounds familiar, you history buffs, you know who he was. As we update the exhibit, the house remains as the generals found it, empty. And on that note, I gotta go, it's starting to rain. And then this says the Nielsen farm. John and Lydia Nielsen were a young couple when they bought this house in 1775. They witnessed what happened here in 1777. The Nielsens knew they were in harm's way and left. You're a young couple, you buy your, I guess, dream house, your farmhouse, and Next thing you know, war's literally happening right in your backyard. Whew. The rain is a-falling, people. There's a monument there, New Hampshire. New Hampshire Regiment Monument. All in all, this is a nice place. It's peaceful, typical of a battlefield that's been preserved. It's quiet. It's a national park site, so there's obviously no development. The only thing you really see here is tourists and occasional wildlife. And I'm getting rained on like crazy. Time to start moving. And there's a quietness to it, a calm. And like I was saying, when you think about it, it makes sense. I mean, think about all the men who died here. Think about how noisy it was with the gunfire and the cannon fire and horses and attacks and literally soldiers fighting to the point at some spots where they were wrestling and battling each other. You know, hand-to-hand combat even. Crazy. All right, there's the parking lot back there. They like to make these long winding paths here for some reason. Nothing's just to hop out and easy to see. This is stop number 3 on the tour. It says fortifying the higher ground. As you can see, if I look and you see a farm down below me. It's beautiful here, but you can see over this way, I'm fighting the rain. The rain is a-coming. I hear thunder again. These bluffs command the Hudson River and the valley below. General Burgoyne's only route to Albany. The valley here is wide, as you can see, but in 1777, a huge swamp called the Great Vly clogged the approaches from the north. The British Army would have to stick to the river and to the road. Gates ordered the construction of the defenses here by Colonel Thaddeus Kazuko, as we learned about him a little bit earlier. This was called Bemis Heights. It gave the Americans, they're looking down onto the British. Look at that rain rolling in. Just in the time frame I got here. Look at that. I gotta hurry up. Jotham Bemis lived here under suspicion and experienced bullying by hostile neighbors. He was fined for neglecting his militia duty. He was later arrested for disapproving of the measures pursued by the United States of America. Both his wife Hannah was also arrested for corresponding with the enemy. They were released after years of confinement. Wow, that's interesting. John and Ethelahan Freeman lived on a nearby farm. They openly sided with the British when war broke out. The family abandoned their farm in 1777. John and his son Thomas enlisted in the King's Loyal Americans. Following the British defeat, the Freemans then moved to Canada. Haha, that's what you get, Freemans. You chose the wrong side. Take a hike. The entire family, minus 3 of the children, tragically died after contracting smallpox the next year. Okay, I shouldn't have laughed at the fact that they took off to Canada. I didn't finish reading the sentence. Sorry about that. But they chose the wrong side and they ended up having to flee. The Bemis family kept a tavern at the foot of these heights. I wonder if that's what that is down there. I wonder if that's what this building is down here. Right there, next to that farm silo. Because it looks similar to what's in the picture. And it says, taverns were a combination of hotel and restaurant. The inn in this photo was built close to where the original tavern was to take advantage of the name made famous by the battles. So it sounds like the original one might not be there anymore, and they built a second one and kept the same name so that it kept the historical significance. But you see this? The car is right there. This is an entire parking lot. The path going that way made you walk really far and around. So I went to the opposite side. Even this is a pretty winding area. It's a beautiful day out. It stinks about the rain because I would definitely be walking these more and the family would be hopping out with me. Instead, it's just me because they're like, oh, you're the sucker who cares about this and cares about history more than we do. So I'm the one that has to risk getting wet. Just in that small little time frame I was there. Look at that sky. The storms are rolling in, which means it doesn't look promising for stops 4 through, this was stop 3. I think stops 4 through 10, maybe 4 through 11. Doesn't look promising. It looks like it's definitely gonna start raining harder. Hopefully we can avoid it. It's the path to battle, stop number 4 on that drive. It says morning skirmishes into the woods a mile north of here on September 19th, 1977 made it clear the British were coming. Those of you who are history people, you've heard that line before. General Benedict Arnold took the liberty to give it as my opinion we ought to march out and attack them. General Gates agreed. He told Arnold to send Colonel Daniel Morgan and the light infantry and support them. This elite force totaled over 700, including Stockbridge warriors. You see them here, the militiamen marching out. And that's Morgan right there on the horse. It says Morgan's men moved towards the sounds of gunfire. I say that's like when you hear police officers go into the sounds of gunfire, these guys did as well. Ahead lay the unknown perils and uncertainties of combat. Could they beat the British? Would their courage fail? Would they survive? But not all. Most, but not all would. A lot of them passed this point as they returned to camp. So this was the point, and they were marching back to their camp, which was back this way, which is where we just came from in the previous stop. So the ones who were successful were able to march back. Those who were lost, unfortunately, were not. Finally, somebody agreed with me, and they built a shortcut. All right, so this is stop number 5, which is where the tide turns. It says the second battle begins. After winning the battle at Freeman's Farm, General Burgoyne ordered his army to dig in about a quarter-mile north here. He hoped the regiments, the reinforcements, would come from New York City. Weeks passed, no help came. Time and food were running out, and I hear lightning. I gotta go. All right, this is stop number 8 on the tour. Unfortunately, 6 and 7 we kind of missed because it was downpouring. It was way too long of a hike. This one says Burgoyne and his army. Here you would have seen thousands of British, Irish, and German soldiers, women and children in 1777. They camped on this site in safety for 2 weeks before the battles of Saratoga. General Burgoyne's army had 3,800 British troops and about 400 follower women and children. More than 2,000 of them camped nearby. The camp would have had lines of linen tents, each housing 1 officer and up to 6 soldiers, women, and children. Men and boys from England, Wales, Scotland, Ireland, and Germany filled the ranks. Unlike their American counterparts, all British soldiers volunteered to join the army. The army provided them with food, pay, clothing, shelter, and medical care. Retirees even got pensions for long-term service. Burgoyne came back here to consider his next move. So many lay dead or wounded. Supplies were running out. The general decided it was time to withdraw. Now everyone under his command faced an uncertain future. So this was basically the place where he was at after having several defeats on the battlefield, and he decided, you know, enough might be enough. It might be time to surrender. So here is where those thoughts and discussions took place. All right, guys, hope you're enjoying this. I'm out here getting soaked for this, but at least I'm having a good time. This is going to wrap up our visit here to the Saratoga National Historic Park here in New York. The rain kind of put a damper on things. There was a few things that we missed because of the rain. We didn't get to go hiking as much as we wanted to, because when it was lightning and little sprinkles, it's like you can throw on a jacket and hike, as you saw me doing. But at one point when I was walking, I don't remember if I caught it on video or not, there was a huge lightning strike, and it was close to where I was at. Kind of came out of nowhere, so I wasn't hearing thunder anymore at that point. But you know how it is, you just got to be careful. Alright, so if you enjoyed our visit here, if you learned a little bit of history along with us, hopefully you did, and you had a good time watching this, hit that like button down below. We'd really appreciate it. Leave us a comment. What do you know about Battle of Saratoga? You know anything about that area? Let us know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and as always, guys, we'll see you soon.